Hello, hello, welcome everyone. Happy Pride for New Zealanders and Australians and wherever else in the world you are. So this is going to be a LGBTQIA plus, all the other letters in the alphabet reading. So this is for everybody, essentially everybody. You can all have a reading here. This isn't specifically just for this, that, or the other. However, this is going to be dedicated to Pride. In this time in the world right now, it is, it's volatile with a lot of things, with many things. But I felt like doing a reading for, not really just doing a reading, but creating a safe kind of space in this moment, in this time, where we can just ground, get a message, and not have to think about all the stuff that's happening in the outside world just for one moment. So yeah, essentially this is for everyone and it is dedicated to the queer community. So I'm going to be using cards that are, as much as I could find, that are like queer friendly, which I think most cards are in this time, this day and age, right, with Oracle and Tarot decks. However, I've picked ones that are specifically that. So I've got these cards to be able to pick a pile. What I'm going to do first is just read like a quick little automatic writing I got for this reading, you could say. So if you want to skip this, then I'll put a timestamp where you can just jump to picking your pile. But otherwise I'll read this. It's very short, so you won't have to spend too much time. So this is your message. It says here, stay strong and never stop being you. At times you may feel overwhelmed, while that's telling you that there is much to do. If it hurts or you feel confused, that's a sign that's a sign you must look upon that shadow and heal it from within. Purpose is found when we feel hatred, love, sadness, happiness, as these are all emotions with hidden meanings to our purpose. Live your life freely with who you love unconditionally. You are in a great time of change. Work within the scope of your ability to utilize this change into your favor. And lastly, love is what's important now. Hard to read my own writing, especially when I do the automatic writing. I'll be honest, I don't read, or not that I don't read, but I don't really write a lot anymore because we have computers, right? Or just like tappity tap on the phone. But yeah, overall, I'll just kind of break it down. The overwhelm is not always such a bad thing as it's coming through in this message, and it can be hard and heavy. However, it's alluding us to something that's important to us, right? It's like, then I need to look at this. I need to see how I can make some shift or change within my scope of influence, right? As it said at the end, use this time. You are in a great time of change to work within the scope of your ability to utilize this change into your favor. The scope of your ability. We all have the ability to make some shifts and changes within always. In the outside world, it can be mixed bag, right? So we can only work with what we have at this moment in time. But as time changes and evolves, you'd be surprised at what you can do, is basically how the message is coming through. Where I kind of messed up, it says, if it hurts or you feel confused, that's a sign you're meant to look upon that shadow and heal it from within. So this is when certain people or things or just feelings are strong or triggering, right? That can have some kind of like meaning and purpose behind it. It's like when people go out of their way to protest against people's just living their life, right? I say that because in New Zealand we had the Pride Parade, and there was a group of people who were protesting it and broke through the barriers, and the police had to get involved, and people got ushered into like stores and stuff, like children and stuff, because it was getting violent potentially, right? Or a little bit. which is kind of sad for something that's celebrating equality, really. Like, it's not like getting more, it's just getting equal rights, right? Anyway, I won't get too deep into it, but you know, that is kind of showing us that we may have some shadow there. There's definitely projected shadows from others, but they're not ours to heal. That's theirs. Don't take on other people's darkness and shadows because they want you to heal their stuff or they want to drag you down. Don't get dragged down by any of that. You don't need to. You're much more worthy of like love and peace and harmony than getting dragged into someone else's darkness, right? We already have our own, we don't need anyone else's. So it's kind of like talking about our own, but also seeing that projected from others, if that makes sense. I like this part. Purpose is found when we feel hatred, love, sadness, happiness. It's really talking about an array of emotions, right? And it's not like we have to feel hatred to find our purpose, but when we feel certain feelings and we just naturally let them come through, that can be alluding us to like a shiny thing over here of like, okay, you're feeling this here. What does that really mean? What is it really telling you? Maybe there's something deep in there that could lead to, you know, some kind of healing even, or even some kind of like meaning and purpose or finding meaning in life, right? Meaning in life doesn't have to be a career, but it can be. It doesn't have to be having children, but it can be. It doesn't have to be healing the inside, but it can be. It doesn't have to be like anything specifically, but it can be, right? So it's really about personal rather than someone's dictated this to you. This is about uncovering and understanding rather than being told. That's why old traditional formats of like, you should live this way, you're supposed to do this, that, or the other, are dying out because they're like the dinosaurs, right? They had their time, it's done and dusted, kaput. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. It was kind of like a little automatic writing, and I like the way it came through. It didn't come through with any kind of like punching bag type thing, right? It was really just like, understand where this is coming from for you personally, and then go through the process of, you know, how can I heal, support, help, self, work with the change, etc., etc., etc. Okay, now we'll get into the shuffling. So it's going to be like how I traditionally have done some readings, but I really wanted this to be a little bit special due to pride. So let's grab some piles. I'll take this one. Oh yeah. Okay, take that. All right, so we've got 3 piles here. Oh, shiny, shiny. I don't think I can block the light. Look, there's going to be some shining lights on these. I'll put them down here. So for pile number 1, you've got Iolite, magical powers, feminine, divine, work connections, and inspiration. For pile 2, you have air, communication, imagination, independent, and witty. And for pile 3, you have fire, passion, creation, travel, and courage. All right, so these are going to be the 3 picker piles. As you can see, this is a crystal deck. However, there are the 4 elements are in here. Surprisingly, they've come out in this message as well. So feel free to pick whichever one is calling you today. You've got Iolite, air, and fire. And then down in the description below, you can jump straight into your reading. Remember, this is going to be a very open message. I'm going to channel in or like read whatever comes through. It's going to be relevant to now, which is whenever you're watching this in 10 years time, since, I don't know, maybe it's 2035, I don't know. You know, what, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter where the planets are. It doesn't matter where anything is other than you here right now. So tap into that energy. Also, I just want to quickly show, look at this. I got this giant piece of selenite from the Mind Body Spirit Expo, and it's in a big square. It's not perfectly square, but that's okay. And it kind of has like a magnified side, which is really strange. But anyway, I like the piece. Okay, anywho, pick whichever one calls you, and I'll see you in your reading. Hello, welcome to your reading pile number 1. So you've chosen the only crystal to come out today, which is Iolite. Magical powers, feminine divine, work connection, and inspiration. This is a really interesting crystal. I like the deep red amongst the kind of like grayish blue colors of this Iolite. I'm going to introduce the decks, I don't always, but because we're doing one that's more based around like pride, the community basically, I've picked very specific ones. This one is the Queer Tarot, can't get any gayer than that, right? It's made by this publishing organization, Ash and Chess, and they are queer and I think one of them's trans, right? So definitely within the realm of things. This is my deck, and surprise, surprise, I'm part of the community as well, so yeah, this is going to be in here too. Doesn't really have a lot of LGBTQIA plus representation, but this was really about the soul rather than the 3D, right? So the soul is infinite. But I'm going to include it as well. We've got Monster Garden here as well. This one is Zach, who's another streamer, is part of the community, lives in Japan. He also has his own deck of cards as well. I'll leave all that description for these two in the description below. And this one's Khalil Gibran. So Khalil Gibran was a poet, author, artist. Like, he was from Lebanon. I think it was back when it was part of the Ottoman Empire. So this was like, I would say over 100 years ago now, right? When are we? Yeah. He was born in the 1800s. So yeah, now while he wasn't necessarily, or there was any proof or anything like that as part of the community, for some reason it felt like I was drawn to this deck. So this is part of the Prophet deck, and he's the one that wrote the poem or the book. So let's grab some cards. Let's grab one of these. Okay, I'm going to take this one actually. Okay, I'll read that in a sec. I'm just going to grab some cards, flip them up, and we'll see what message comes through. And then I'll grab some tarot cards at the end. Okay. All right. Giving them a good shuffle beforehand, but I like to shuffle them again. So first one that's come through is this is the section of the poem that's called Clothes. So the story, basically the story of the prophet is this prophet goes to this town, right? And then certain people that are more interested in this, that, or the other, like the person who's interested in love, the person who's interested in the law, the person who's interested in food, this is clothes. So they ask the prophet question, what of this? And the prophet spills out a poem very like symbolic rather than to the point, right? That's how kind of poetry works. It's more like a dance rather than sit down and I'll dictate this to you, right? It's like a flow. So anywho, this is part of his artwork, and this is the section of the poem that's being read. So this says, the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair. So the earth delight to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair, which is kind of an interesting one, right? To me, it's feeling like self-expression. There's something with actually the clothes and the way you express self, but like here, the elements want to play as well in this world. And we're talking about magical powers and the feminine divine. Like, there's work connection, and also inspiration in here, but this is how you can boost your energy, basically. So whether that's you're looking for money, you're looking for support, you're looking for whatever it really is, grounding, getting out there and getting into the elements is like how this is coming through for me. And also like what you wear is important, how you carry yourself, right? Being, you don't have to be anything, right? It's just like, what's the best word for it? It's not like being proud of yourself or happy with yourself. That's the goal. But doing small incremental things to get to that feeling of, looking after yourself, taking pride in who you are. That's really where this is coming through. It's a nice little piece of the poem. All right, and then we've got these two cards. So you've got appreciation. It says quiet admiration and deep respect, and everything is nothing. I love that everything is nothing. Driz comes out a lot at the moment. Driz is this little, what would you say, like jellyfish looking creature? And here, quiet admiration and deep respect. This is very internal of how you feel about yourself. This isn't about going out there and dressing up or trying to be something else because you that will help you fit into society, or even going out there and trying to push society's boundaries, right? If that's how you feel, honestly, sure, but you're not there to even try to be anything for anyone else. You're doing it for you. And if that is I don't know, dressing up in gender normative clothing or something like that, then it's that. If it's going out there and like just something that you feel really I don't know, excited and inspired by, then it's doing that. Obviously you have to do this in your own with your own safety in mind, but it's not so much like an external thing. It's not like an approval or even a disapproval from the external. This is all an internal space to just be free, just feel freely you, right? I remember even a time when I wore this big flouncy hat because I always liked the it's kind of stupid, but the woman's hat with the big floppy hats, right? The huge brim, like oversized, and it's just really floppy. And so I remember wearing that when I went to Bali and I was with my partner's family. And his dad was like, "Isn't that a woman's hat?" You know what I mean? And I was just like, "No, because I'm wearing it." You know what I mean? That's what I said to him and just left it at that. But I wore it because I wanted to wear it. I wasn't wearing it for him. If he's getting offended by it, then don't look. Don't look, ho. No, but he's all right. He's not bad sometimes. All right. So yeah, so we've got like if we could look at this world, or I guess if we could look at our soul's existence with just pure neutrality, we would see this life as just something to like. It's just a very small part. Let's break it down into our own lives. We might even see this life as like 3 hours of our soul's infinite life, right? Just as an example. If we saw it like that, we probably wouldn't be so fearful or headstrong or like passive or aggressive or anything, right? We would just see it as like, okay, I need to make the most of this 3 hours. I'm at the crazy town, right? This kind of like event center place where there's lots of fun and stuff and all sorts of different crazy things to do. I've got 3 hours. I may as well just go explore rather than sit here and worry about what I could be doing or what I shouldn't be doing or how I should act or anything like that. Just go do it. This is kind of where it's coming through. And it's being very mindful of who you are and how you are as well. This doesn't have anything to do with any external expectations or validations. This is all very you. You've got the golem and the challah with creation, control, and consumption. You can see here the golem has got a whole lot of challah bread, and this is where the creation has kind of come through from this little, I don't know, priest, Jewish guy. What would you call them? Rabbi, I guess, maybe? I don't know. But this little Hasidic guy. Let's just say that. And it's got creation, control, and consumption. This is about being very aware of what is influencing you in your life. So this doesn't have to be any part of any community, right? It could be an ally, it could be, I don't know, homophobe. I don't know. I don't care. If you're a homophobe and you're watching this, then I don't know what to tell you. But here's maybe something you can learn something. It's being very aware of what you've been fed, right? As a child, we get fed different stories. We get fed all sorts of stuff. And so when we go, if no one's really talked about race or anything like that, you can see kids that have never really learned to, or like been told anything from the parents, just playing with all kids, right? Or even just asking questions about maybe even skin color or things. You know, they usually, like, children are usually pretty straightforward with those kind of things. But they won't judge based off that. That's learnt behavior. So being very aware of the learnt behaviors, even if you're the most wacky, wildest kind of like free-spirited person out there, there's still learnt behaviors that can still impact you, right? And it's not about removing them or saying defining them as good or bad. It's just understanding how they work within your life so you can better improve your relationship with yourself, your relationship with other humans, animals, anything, right? Your just kind of relationship with certain topics, I guess. That's how this one's coming through. You also have the old master and the time staff with master's purpose and past. When I was reading that little automatic writing blah, right? This purpose was coming through, and finding meaning and purpose in life is generally something where people like, well, I don't know, right? I don't know. I always think at a base level, your purpose is to be here, and you're already fulfilling that purpose by being here. You've got all the way through to this part of your life. I would say you're already fulfilling your purpose by being here. Now, what you want to do with like what's around you is completely up to you. And our feelings and our emotions towards certain topics, towards certain people, maybe even our own biases, maybe even our own like, why doesn't everyone just see this as quite clear? It's about love, or it's about affection, or it's about this, that, or the other, right? That is not always like telling you your purpose, but it's hinting at meaning and finding purpose and meaning in life. Sometimes we're told what we should be, right? By our gender, we're told how we should be. They even did a study on parents who they had like a crawling baby, right? I don't know what it is, like a baby that crawls. It's got to the point where it's not a potato, it's like a potato with kneecaps or developing kneecaps. So it's like, but they had this like system where these parents with certain babies were, how do I put this? It's kind of like, this is not really a good thing to do, but the baby would be like crawling up a ledge, right? And so the parent would put it at an angle that they felt their baby would be safe. And there were mostly female, the mothers were there, so it was mostly like mothers and some fathers that were adjusting it. But the test ran through, and I believe it was every single, or a majority, like there's a very high percentage, I can't remember, I don't want to make it up, but it was very, very high percentage of babies that were deemed as like female, right, that would have a lower incline than the babies that were male. So they would put it up higher, making the struggle or the difficulty more harder for their sons or their boys, let's say, whatever you want to say. So it was really interesting that is how there's biases in the world, right? So it's just even taking note of that. And it's really interesting because I could even see that sometimes, not so much with the gender, so to speak, but just like even how I would interact with my nephew when we were taking him to the park one time. He was fine going over all sorts of different things, and I was just like, oh, but then I don't want to break it because, baby. But still, like, he was fine. He was absolutely fine. He was going over all sorts of different things and that kind of stuff. And so maybe I'd be overly protective. But anyway, it's just interesting seeing those kind of things play out and how we don't even realize it or don't intend to do that. But it's there. Like sometimes it's there. Like those little things are there. So yeah. I do like this with the mastery and the purpose past. I think some of you have come into this life with a very clear purpose of kind of kind of shaking up the system in a way. There's something from the past where maybe it was, it went down it's kind of like, you do everything right and you still end up getting down to a shitty path. thinking that you're conforming all the way to the end and it just didn't even work. Because that never works, right? Conforming might keep you alive, but it doesn't bring peace, happiness, purpose, or meaning. So I don't know. It's really depending on the time and system, but knowing that you're going to build it in time could be like helpful to you. You've kind of there's some people that have come through with like a past of coming from a very conformative type lifestyle or life, and either things just went exactly how you planned, and so it was just like a very this is this and that is that life, and some like followed the rules, so to speak, and still ended up in a place that was not great. So it was like, do I get there from this side or do I get there from this side? Do I get there by being fully me or do I get there by pretending to be something that I'm not, right? And now this life, you've got like a huge opportunity to really express that, and you probably already are in so many ways, right? This is just like work kind of thing. Okay. I think this is just a reminder of like remembering who you are at a soul level, as well as at this, wonderful human level as well. We're taking a break from the outside world, it feels like, is how it wants to come through. Just in this moment, just while you're here with me in this reading. Okay, so let's take a look at the tarot. So this is the queer tarot. Has a whole bunch of people who are, all sorts in the queer community. All right, some of these will come out reversed. I'm going to read them upright, no matter what. So let's see your message, please. Okay. Got the Knight of Cups. I always like this Knight of Cups. They're riding the horse, right? They're holding their cups, and it's like the essence of it is flying off into the cosmos. The Knight of Cups is a lover of love. Sometimes he's the romantic, traditionally, but here it's like they're going off into a journey of their own making. Just like, what would you say? Just exploring and experiencing what life has to offer. Maybe this is about looking for love in some kind of like roundabout way, but it could be for you, it could be that could be very true. And it can also be finding what fills you up, right? What fills your heart. Oh yeah, look at that. You got the full card too. It's definitely about going on a journey. I feel like you've probably gone on many journeys already, right? But just know that the harshness of some of those journeys has led you to be able to have new journeys that aren't so difficult. Does it mean they'll be easy? Probably not, right? We're still on planet Earth. It's not basic. It's complicated, it's kind of wacky, it's interesting. So you've got the Fool card going, heading off into the unknown, trying something new, maybe even taking a leap of faith and finding something new. It does have work connections here. It could even be trying a new job, trying a new department in the work you work in, looking for something completely different. Yeah, it's in your hands. You've got the Magician here too, and you've got this person holding up the wand, it looks like. I was just seeing if that flower was attached to it, but I think the flower's just up in the air. Anyway, the Magician card is about action. Doesn't have to mean you have to take action. It's just like it's like the masculine energy. And it's kind of interesting with the feminine over here and the masculine over here. And then we've got like, this person who's, well, like not person, but this being who's made of clay. And you've got this trans person here on the horse. Right, it's just like there's like a crossover or something. There's like, this is almost like a timeline. It's not exactly, but it's just I mean the feminine divine over here, the masculine energy here, even depicted with femininity or feminine aspects, right? Is just showing that we're going through, or you may be even going through this whole gender or identity kind of like shift. It doesn't mean you're changing genders. It's just like how you view gender is maybe even completely dissolving. Because how it may have locked you in the past, and how you can live more freely and do what's really important to you. So yeah, this is interesting. Again, it doesn't have to be just about gender, right? This is just the example that's coming through. So how you apply it to your life is what message you get from the stories that are told within this reading. Okay. You've got the Hanged Man, so you're getting a lot of major cards coming through. It does feel like there's a lot of major shifts. You can see here, even right here, this guy is looking up at the hourglass, and it's kind of like he's made a deal with the devil, so to speak. Or it feels like he's done something to give himself some more time to be able to deal with what's going on. And here's the blessing of that deal. Doesn't mean it has to be with the devil, right? It's just like he's bought himself some more time. And here you've got the Hanged Man who's utilizing that time smartly. You know, action isn't always the best thing. Productivity doesn't equal happiness, right? I think it's like, is it Malaysia or Singapore has like one of the highest productivity per capita, but it hasn't equaled happiness, right? Productivity doesn't equal happiness. So, and when I say productivity, action, this is like resting, giving yourself some time to see what you're carrying. You could be carrying old burdens and things that stop you from your peace, from your happiness, or finding joy and fulfillment in life. So this is a nice message to like sit within it. Like the universe is nothing. Driz just floats around in the game, right? He's just going do. He's just doing his own thing. And this guy is kind of like, you know, these cards are really speaking to utilizing the time in a way that you are kind to yourself and not so hard and heavy on yourself. Your job isn't to save everyone in the world. So don't feel like you need to do that. Okay. What else wants to come through? You've got the Ten of Swords here. The Ten of Swords is an ending which may have been really hard, and especially in conjunction with the Hanged Man and the Fool card. Hanged Man, that finding enlightenment, right? You can see the little bits of stuff coming out. That's like, it's giving that time to really introspect, and the Fool card is going off on a journey. But it's like accepting the past as the past. It may have been hard, could have been losses, could have been breakups, could have been disownments, right? Could have been a whole lot of crazy, wacky shit. So, yeah, this card is about, I guess it's like really accepting that certain things haven't gone through the way I planned, but that doesn't mean I stop, I lose. There's no loss, right? You keep trying. I remember hearing about this guy who went bankrupt like 2 times or something like that, and lost it all many times, and he still had that drive to keep going, right? He learned from those losses, and then he became like a millionaire. I don't know if he's still, this was a long time ago, I think it was like in the early 2000s, but it was just that idea of like not giving up, right? Other people might have been like, see, you should have just went with like a factory job or an office job and just sat and did whatever you were told, right? But look what he did. Even if he never passed, let's say he kept going and he kept failing and it was just constantly that happening, you're still learning something about yourself, about life. And I feel like that's where this is coming in. The failures aren't really failures. They're positive learnings of how not to do something, or how, you know, the past can be painful and feel like grief. But it's also an opportunity to overcome and become powerful, right? If someone goes through life and hasn't had any hardships, let's say, I don't think anyone could, but just let's say there's a person like that, when a hardship comes, it's going to hit them really heavy and hard and crazy when they're much older, because that's the first time, right? When we're getting challenges and difficulties throughout our lives, then we get to a point where something harsh comes along, we're able to move through it much easily. It's not like always feels like a great thing, but there is like this resilience and hardiness within this message as well. That's where I think the feminine divine comes through, and the magical powers. It's like that within you, not seeing the masculine or the feminine within you. Like that example where the girls, the baby girls would be like having an incline like this, and the baby boys would have an incline like that, right? Okay, interestingly enough, every single card came out upright. I didn't have to flip any of them, I don't think. Yeah, no, I didn't. I thought I had to flip this one, but it's Hanged Man, so it's always upside down. All right, so you've got the 6, is it? No, 4? Hang on. Oh, 9, sorry, 9. Oh my goodness, my Roman numerals, I was like, it's 1 before, but I thought this was 5, so I was like, yeah, it's 4. No, this is 9. Because it's like 1 off 10. Anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. You've got the 9 of Pentacles, and this is getting to a place of fulfillment and freedom. So I feel like this is a card that pops up many times in our life. It's not like we finally get to a particular end and that's it. But there's lots of times when we overcome, we grow, we get into a place where now we feel some kind of settlement and we feel empowered to be able to create within what's there. You know, traditionally the 9 of Pentacles is a person who has a self-made person, right? They've built an empire with whatever they've got. You know, back in the day when females couldn't have land or any rights, pretty much, right? Way back in the day, they would get married off into certain families. They would have to, you know, like Olenna Tyrell, right? If you've ever watched Game of Thrones, her sister was supposed to marry the king or whatever, or whoever it was in I can't remember their kingdom, but anyway, and so she went in and did what she needed to do to get that position, right? Because she wanted to be in that high position. Not always the best way, but like she took availability of what was available in that time. They're not able to have, like, you know, certain abilities due to their gender and that kind of thing. So they utilize what they have. People utilize what they have, and that's kind of like what this is. It's getting to a point of like self-made, like you're the one in control. And especially with these 2 cards connected, the ending that needs to be let go of and forgiven in some way, and that's up to you how you process that, right? But really it's about utilizing what you have to create what you want, and then going on a journey that may not be known. Could be like moving to a new country. It could be just like getting out of a situation that's not working, leaving friends that you've grown out of, right? That's okay. It could be very small, it could be very big. It's really up to you. But there's something here with like that's coming through is like the clothes that you wear speak to where you are at this time, which is kind of funny because I'm wearing a ridiculous top. I just got it because it was tie-dyed. So anyway, that's where I am. I'm in a tie-dyed world of my own making. But for some reason, yeah, the clothes that you wear make the person, right? So I think it's like, you know how people sometimes say dress for the job that you want, not for the job that you have. I never used to like that because I refused to wear a tie because I thought they were horrible and they're just the shittest fucking thing that any, you know, person has to wear. Personally, do they look good? Yes, they look good on people. I don't want to wear it. I'd rather not choke myself to look like a particular part. But what does that look like now in this time, now that I've evolved from seeing that it's not all about work, right? It's like dressing how you want to dress, be how you want to be, feel how you want to feel. This is really where it's coming through, regardless of your sexuality, gender identity, or anything. Could be the straightest, plainest person out there, that's okay. If that's how you feel and you're dressing towards that, and that's what gives you life, not because you're told you should dress like that, then dress like that, right? Dress how you want, no matter what that looks like. Okay, Well, that's been quite a reading. I really hope this helps for you, pile number 1. You're the only one that's chosen a crystal. We've got elements coming up, so feel free to check those out. But I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you so much for letting me read for you today. Take care of yourself, look after yourself, be kind to one another, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome pile number 2. Welcome to the reading today. You've chosen the air element. I was going to say crystal, but this is obviously an element. The crystal cards have the 4 elements. So you've chosen air with communication, imagination, independent, and witty. Interesting card coming through, right? This is like, I'm feeling like the more independent energy. I'll talk to some stuff first before I get into the message. While I was shuffling your cards, a scrub turkey just walked past the window. They are native to Australia, right? And they're protected, so they kind of just like wander around in suburbs and they're just like picking stuff. I don't mind them too much because they clear out some of the spiders and geckos and skinks and stuff when it gets like overpopulated, right? So they're good, like they keep things down. It's it's balance, right? It's balance in life. But I looked up the spiritual meaning. You might want to look up what a scrub turkey is for you. This is one that's from Australia. They're quite different to like the big fat kind of looking turkeys that are in the United States. But anywho, the scrub turkey for the Aboriginal people, now this could be like a particular tribe, but it's just very broad in this particular message, so take it with whatever. Is knowledge, adaptability, and the connection to the land. So knowledge and adaptability, it's kind of quite interesting with independence. This to me feels like moving through the cycles and being able to create what you can with what you've got, right? To be able to do it's kind of like a hustler, almost like not a hustler, maybe that's the wrong word, like hustling. Does that make sense? Hustler. Is a hustler like a male prostitute or something? I don't know. But anyway, hustling, doing what you can. Witty is someone who's quick on their feet, right? So yeah, anyway, let's have a look at what comes out. Probably said that all wrong, but anyway. I kind of chose some more queer decks. This is the Queer Tower, I can't get any queer than that. We've got the Monster Garden cards, which is made by Zach, who's part of the community as well, lives in Japan. And these are my cards, part of the community as well. And these are based off myths, legends, and symbols. So this deck here is the Prophet, not necessarily a queer deck, but I was drawn to it, and so I'm using it today. This is by Khalil Gibran. Don't think he ever thought they would turn into like reading cards from his artwork or his poem, The Prophet, but here we are. Okay. Grab this one. Oh wow, this one came out actually with the last pile, so you might want to check out pile 1 if you were drawn to it. The fact that it's popped out again is quite surprising. So I'll read this to you. This is the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair. This is the section of clothes. The story is a prophet comes to a town, everyone asks certain questions, and it's turned into like a metaphor in a poem to like explain the meaning behind it. All the messages are very true to now, I feel anyway, personally. There's no hate in there. There's no shitty things in there. It's all like an expression of a different form of love, right? Anyway. So what I got from the first time when I read this is going to be slightly different, especially when we've got wind longs to play with your hair. This is feeling like getting out into the elements, getting out into the world, doing your own thing, going your own way. If I want to dive deep into it, I'll come back to it, but I'm going to grab some other cards first. Okay, so you've got the Gentle Joy card, good vibes and complementary colors. This is when things are starting to fit in. It doesn't mean the outside world may not match what you want in life, but the inside's starting to match in a way that shows you there's a path towards that blending or that cohesiveness in life, right? Oh, I kind of like that. unexpected, surprising developments. With a lot of funny little things happening in the world, this could be something good popping up because you've done, I don't know, it feels like your head's starting to open up, and that can feel like your head's going crazy, but it's more like the mind or the mentality is starting to make sense in some way. I don't know. We'll have to see what else comes through. And that's why this is coming through. It's like, I don't know, getting is it community chess card in Monopoly, and it's like second prize in a beauty contest, right? It's not like it's going to save the day, but it just helps that little bit with a purchase or paying rent in a hotel or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a huge amount, but it's something good. Something starts to go well because now your mindset shifted into a direction that's right for you. So this feels cool. I like this. I'm gonna take both these. Oh yeah. Got the mage. Oh wow, okay. Very cool. It does feel like you've mastered something or you've unlocked something, and that creates, like here with the beginner sword and the squire, practice, new beginnings and journey, you get to open up here. It's like when we reach a milestone, right? When we buy our first car, that can be a milestone reach. And then what's the next one? We get a house. Like this is external stuff. Internal stuff, right? Could be like, I understand more about who I am. I can see a process on the external matching my internal. I can see how I can start to look after self-care, self-expression, self-love myself, right? That kind of thing. And now I'm starting to attract more from the outside of like that matches the resonance that I have set for myself internally, right? It's like that kind of development. Neither is right or wrong. It's all different ways of just living through this existence, right? If we stopped being assholes to each other, we'd probably see a whole lot more diversity in how we express ourselves, right? That kind of thing. Just because someone has decided they want to cut diversity right out of the world in some way, we only give power to that if we believe that's true for us. If someone does that to me, I'm not going to take it, right? You can do whatever you want. I ain't buying into that. So you go live off in your life thinking that you have created that, but you haven't impacted me because I'm not allowing it for myself. That's the kind of like vibe that I'm getting. I also picked up before with this card, the clothes part. It's like, there's one side that's like letting the clothes wear you, or you wearing the clothes, right? And that could be like, I'm putting on something that I think is what I resonate with, instead of I'm wearing this because this is what I feel like wearing. I'm putting on this this outfit as an expression of my insides, rather than I'm putting on this outfit to blend in, or I'm putting on this outfit to shine, but it's not exactly me. It's just something that makes me get seen, right? So it's like a you can play around with it, have fun with it, but also understand it, how it feels as well. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. Is basically what I'm saying. But you live your life. We create our own restrictions and our own guidance. So do whatever's nice to you. You've got gentle joy though. This isn't about having to be or do anything. This is just about flowing, basically. But yeah, you're on a journey of life, as we all are. You've reached milestones, I feel, because this one, I don't think I read it, but it talks about elements, and this was talking about elements as well. Like, and we've got the air element, right? So this is the elemental mage. It's got elements, portal openings, which is like a new doorway, which might reset some stuff for you or set you into might feel like a ground level, but the ground level is fine because the only way is up, right? It's better to get out of the mud, let's say, to pick a nicer word, and then start from the beginning in a new place where there's like the ceiling is unlimited kind of feeling. Okay. All right, I'm fine now. Lots of elements though. Even these little guys look like different elements. And even here, he's got water, darkness, trees, I don't know, fire, or whatever. Oh, this one popped up in the first pile as well. So you've got the Fool card, going on a new journey, right next to new beginnings and journey. If you were thinking of doing anything new with these cards, these are kind of slapping you in the face. Like, this is, like, take notice of this, basically. It's not really slapping you in the face, but you know what I mean. It's like double downing on a very similar message. This is unexpected. The Fool goes into the unknown. He, she, whoever doesn't really know where they're going, but they know that they're leaving what they don't want to be a part of behind. Get out of there, run. That's kind of my feeling about it. Ooh, got the Knight of Pentacles. Yeah, this is the practical man. I like this Knight because he sits back, he strategizes, he makes a plan, and then he goes forward. It's kind of like, you know, if let's say we were setting up a garden, instead of just chucking seeds and watering it and then going off into the next adventure, he sits back, he strategizes like, okay, it's winter, maybe nothing gonna grow, probably don't plant the seeds, right? Let's wait until this time when I can do this, because there's so much other stuff I can play around with and then come back to this, right? And then I can check what soil grows well here, what kind of seeds grow well in the soil that I have, what do I need to make sure that it's irrigated, right? That there's fresh water or just water, whatever, that kind of thing. So this is giving you space and time. Like, it's gentle. None of this is like you have to do anything now. It's just opening up the door, which you have opened, that maybe you want, and now you can step through into something completely different. Don't go and don't not do it because out of fear of change. Sometimes we get so used to the shitty stuff in our life that that becomes our norm, and then when something opens up, we don't feel like we're worthy of it. Go forward with it if you feel like it. Give yourself some space and time. You're definitely worthy of it. Like, that's not really in question. It's just like, do you feel like you're worthy of it? Oh, here we go. You've got the 5 of, what is this? Wands? Yeah, 5 of Wands. I don't know why it blanked for me for a while. But 5 of Wands here. This can be like friction, frustration. It can also be sparring, right? It's like it's like practicing, and you've got here the practice, the sword beginner. It's like, this could be sparring or practicing or trying something. Some people, even you could be going into martial arts or something, right? You know, trying something creative or physical. Could be like the gym, sports, something like that. I don't know why, but you know, maybe that's for you. This is really like up to you. It's like your life, right? It's not my life to tell you how to live it. It's more like, I'm here today as like a guide, and you are the decider of your decisions, basically, decider of your future. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you've got plenty of time with this. This could be a healing journey. Part of this could be healing. You don't have to go through like the feeling of, oh, I have to heal this, that, or the other. It could naturally flow through by the actions that you do for yourself. Especially exercise, honestly. Exercise, like, I don't really do a huge amount, so, you know, I'm coming from a place of like ignorance, let's say, but I know that there's a lot of studies and stuff where exercise really helps people's mental health as well as their physical, right? Got the Page of Pentacles. I love that with the Knight of Pentacles. There's this like learning. There's a lot of learning. There's a lot of newness. There's a lot of freshness. This is opening up a new portal, a new door. This is a new beginning. The Fool's a new beginning. Page of Pentacles is almost like a new beginning. Sometimes the Page is a learner, like reading a book, right? Sometimes that means it's good because you're getting the ground or information and the knowledge to be able to create what you want. I don't know if you have already started something new or you want to, but this is definitely saying it's within your capability. This fight could even be a mental frustrational fight between ego and like possibility, right? Let the ego know that you love the ego, that you are just looking at trying to add some kind of interest and value into life. The ego sometimes, or the body, wants you to just stay still, right? It wants you to eat when you need to eat, drink when you need to drink, and then stay still. so that you don't hurt yourself or anything like that. But that's not life, right? We go through all sorts of crazy stuff. We need entertainment, we need communication, we need fun, and like we want to spar and stuff, even verbally, right? Especially with here, the communication. We want to like have debates and stuff like that. Okay. Last thing, what else needs to come through? All right, and you've got the High Priestess. I forgot to say I'm reading these all upright, even if they come through reversed. I'm reading them all upright. So the High Priestess is coming through at the end. Sometimes she's a secret holder. She holds the knowledge, the book. She usually holds the Torah, which is kind of like seen as the book of secrets, right? In the old kind of version way. She's also a divine feminine energy. She has that like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like she creates what's possible within, right? And then shares it in a way so that people can go act upon it. And she is kind of like, it feels like she's creating something within herself, which is really you creating something within yourself and then acting upon it. So it's working with the masculine and feminine within. If we put it basically, right, the active and the imaginative energies. There's also this idea of you're not really meant to know what's going to happen. You're meant to figure it out on the path and trust and believe in self, because that's where the learning comes from, that belief, self-belief, right? I feel like a lot of us, or like many people, were told that we couldn't be this or couldn't do that or weren't worthy of this. I remember being told that kind of stuff, and I don't think it was in malice. I think it was just in like, I want to make sure that they're not dreamers, right? They're practical. I want to make sure like my kids are like practical, that kind of thing. And it was like, I would never be smarter than this person or these people. I wouldn't be able to do this. So make sure you get skills that you can just do, and then that's it, right? That kind of thing. Whereas for me, I was like, if I took that on as my truth, right, and my belief, then that would be a limitation. I never limited myself. I was just like, okay, well, I don't believe that. That's your problem, mama. Like, you know what I mean? It was like, that's not me. And so I went out and lived my life the way that, you know, had a huge amount of learning, a huge amount of like upsets and all sorts of crazy shit. But like, I got there, right? We got through it. And I feel like that's maybe where you are in this part of your life, or at a completely different time, but it's like that turning of the wheel or the shift or coming up to a crossroads where you get to pick your path, right? So all this is kind of coming through. You're not really told to do anything so much as feel it out, think about it, and then take action, go forward with it when it's the right time for you. Because it does feel like, yeah, again, what do you conceptualize? The imagination is like manifestation, right? That's imagination. You see it, you feel it, you do what feels right to reach that particular goal. So yeah, I think that's it for you, pile 2. Really nice energy, nice message. Hopefully this really helps you. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I'll put in the description links to these cards and my cards. They're still on Kickstarter, and they're just going to be there this last one time, and it finishes at the end of the month, and then I'm done. That's it. Okay, lots of colors, colorful cards too. All right, take care of yourself, pile 2, and I'll see you next time. Hello, welcome to your reading, pile 3. You have chosen the fire card, Passion, Creation, Travel, Courage. Woo. Nice card to pick for this. Obviously not a crystal card, but it is called the crystal card deck, and has the 4 elements, and we've got fire. Interestingly enough, fire and air coming through in the readings is kind of like a call to the change in times. Even if you look at Western astrology, a lot of the planets, or especially the outer ones, like you know, some of the really far out ones like Haumea and all this in the asteroid belt, and like ones that are even further out and all that, Ixion and whatever. Some of them are even starting to change signs, right? They're changing from some of the denser signs, which is like earth and water, into fire and air, which is quicker, right? It's faster. Air is very quick, spreads fire, right? You know, that kind of thing. It's very combust type energy. It's like fire and air mixed together is like heat wave, right? Even so, it's like a lot of fast, more wild energy. And so maybe that's where we're going with this reading. This is around a pride reading. It doesn't have to be just pride, right? No matter who you are, this is a reading for you, and a safe space for you to be in. So introduce the decks. This is the Queer Tarot. I wanted some more representative type cards. Can't get any more queer than that one, right? These are my cards. I'm part of the community. These are Zach's cards. He's part of the community. So, you know, I've got these two pairing. I do like our cards together as well. There's something about our decks that sounds really dirty, but something about our cards that work really well. Anyway, and this is not really part of the community, but this is The Prophet, which is a poem and story written by Khalil Gibran, who is a Lebanese American artist, author, and he lived way back in the day, 1800s, and yeah, he had some really kind of like deep, meaningful messages. And usually when we look back in the past and read a story, it has a lot of like things that are really outdated, right? Not that it's not his story. It's so relevant, I feel anyway, if you ever get to read The Prophet or listen to it on Audible or something like that. But anyway, let's get into your reading. Let's see what wants to be said. Okay, card number 17, you've got, this is this section of buying and selling. So the story is this prophet goes to this town, the people are there, they want to learn, and each one of them asks a question. So it's not really a question even, it's just like, well, what of this? And so it's like, what of buying and selling? What of law? What of clothes? What of love? What of food? What of marriage, right? And this one's what of buying and selling. And the prophet kind of tells a story, or like in a very poetic way, a message to the reader, really, but to the people of this town. So this one's called "The Land and the Sea Shall Be Bountiful." The land and the sea shall be bountiful. This is really saying that there is enough for all. There's enough of everything for all, and we know that there's enough for all, right? We just have these hierarchies of people up here and people down here who are trying to reach up there, and that's kind of like how life should be, right? When really, these people don't need to be there. We just have kind of agreed that that's what you deserve, right? And so, you know, things can start to be more balanced. I think that we're going through a process of that. The land and the sea shall be bountiful. Yeah, if there's a lot here. We do a lot to the land, we do a lot to the sea, right? There's a lot of trash just in the sea. And there's a lot of people or a lot of organizations trying to clean that up and dispose of what we've thrown in there. So yeah, interesting message just coming off straight off the bat. But I'll grab some more cards before I get too far into it. Okay, so you've got focus, one step at a time. This slows things down a little bit. And for reason. If we're just sitting in the wildfire, you know, we can burn ourselves, right? Or we can clear too much at once. You don't want to like try to heal a part of self when it's not ready to be healed, right? Because we'll think we've healed it, but we've actually just resealed it and then moved on thinking it's healed, and then it'll pop up another time. And that's not a bad thing. It'll probably pop up when it needs to, but you know, don't open up a wound that's too deep to heal when you're not ready for it, right? Oh, the little googly eye guy is popping up here twice. This is acceptance. Unleash yourself. I love that. Just be you. let out your creative flair, let out what you're passionate about, have courage. You're going to have to maybe go against what other people want you to be, right? Or who they think you should be. Even here, this person feels like they're loving and supporting this person, but this person has like either a secret or they aren't looking for what this person can offer or need to be, right? Sometimes the love and support that we give someone isn't exactly what they need at that time. And it's not like you shouldn't give them love and support, but it could be like someone who's I guess like wanting food, right? But it's getting them sick and it's got them to a place where they're obese, but that's the only way you feel like you need, to love them, right? And so it's like food, more food, then you must want more food. That kind of thing. It's like whatever's on offer isn't really what's needed in this moment. It could be from a loving space, but it doesn't mean it's what's needed. So whether that's you or someone's providing that for you and you were looking for more, take back your power, right? You don't have to rely on this person or this government or this thing to get what you want. You're here to just be. Ooh, the chosen one. This is the chosen and the floral garland with ascension, great shifts and blessings. Yeah, there's a lot of crazy shit going on at the moment. If there's a lot of stuff flying around, like a lot of like heat, right? And a lot of like expectations here even. Like for some reason I'm getting a lot of expectations. Even here, I'm wondering if they're expecting anything from each other. If they're not, Clunker just does his own thing. They all just do their own thing. They all have their benefits, right? This little zoomy guy here, he's like super enthusiastic and just wants to go, 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 go. And maybe that's his journey, right? It doesn't mean you have to worry about it or like be involved in it. Let people be themselves while you get to be yourself is basically how it's coming through. Because you're here with a purpose and a meaning, and this is a good time to unleash who you are. Okay. Whoop. Okay, this one. All right. This is always a kind of interesting card that I created it, so it's always like, I wonder what I was thinking. But this is the mother and the vampire ashes. There's an actually story behind this. It's like she's slain a vampire or she's been able to kick someone out of the house, right? So it could have been like an abusive person or something like that. She's gotten away, but there's still this like remnants in here. She's kept something that's held on, whether it's physical, like a book, a diary with this person's like energy in it, or even if it's just like the memories, right? The ideas of it. And you can see the children, while she's in a good place, that's now time to either deal with it or not. It's really up to you as an individual how you're perceiving this message, but it's like it's either time to acknowledge it, because here it says care, because she's looking after her children, right? Attached, something that's still there, and awareness, spatial awareness, being aware of like your energy, your attachments, that kind of thing, because this is a less time to maybe heal and cure, or maybe not cure is the right word, but maybe not even heal is the right word, right? Just like overcome or evolve from an old situation. And it takes a step at a time and doing it your own way. There might be people who want to support you, and that's absolutely fine, but you got to do it in a way that's right for you. Because this is a good time. This is like bountiful, right? There's a lot of opportunities out there to make big change, whether that's involving art projects, some with creation, right, or moving, or like just self-expression. It's up to you. All right, let's take a look at these cards. I'm going to read these all up, right? Yeah, taking too much. You can't do it all. You might not even be expected to do it all. You just might think people expect you to be this, that, or the other. I'm going to say no. You might want to argue that. No, I'm going to say no. Say no, I'm going to say no. Because the Ten of Wands, I don't know what I said before, but the Ten of Wands anyway is someone who is trying to do too much, trying to get too much, goes and buys too much stuff to carry back, right? It's kind of like, oh, we need 5 wands, whatever, right? 5 pieces of wood to burn in the fire. So you go thinking, oh, well, if I double it, I'll get 10 and I'll be able to take it back, but it's not working. It's like it turns into far worse than making 2 trips or making just one because you didn't need to make 2 trips, right? So it's like overextending yourself, trying to work too much, trying to have too many events coming up and do too much stuff. This is like an idea of letting go of some of that. That is the physical side of it, and the mental side of it is having way too much going on in your head and needing to like unwind the ball of yarn. Okay. You have the 2 of Swords. This is like making decisions, basically. Inaction is inaction. You have the 3 of Swords. This could be leaving something behind too, or someone. Yeah, it's a tough one, but you got to live your life. You're not born to look after anyone else, right? You're not, just because people expect something of you, you're not really here to do that. You're here to be you. Even the chosen can feel like such a heavy burden, right? For an example, like you might want to really help your family and parents, but people have to look after themselves, right? At times. At other times, we want to go and support and help them. That's absolutely fine. But you don't need to be there just like making sure they are happy or not, right? In their whole life. Their happiness is based off their own decisions. I've had that discussion with my parents, right? Especially around children. And I was like, I never wanted children as a child. I didn't like children when I was 5 years old. I remember it and saying that I'd never have them to my parents when I was a young kid. And that hasn't changed. And even now, there's still like this idea, it's not really pushed upon me, right, anymore, but just like that idea of like, you should do this, that kind of thing, right, blah, blah, blah. No, I'm not. I mean, I've even heard, well, who's going to look after you? Children aren't guaranteed to look after you, right? I'm going to be able to look after myself. I'm going to make sure I've got everything I need to look after myself. If I don't enjoy certain things that are popping up, I will make shifts and changes. I'm not going to live and have children out of fear of being alone, right? That's a wild mentality to have. I feel like some of those people need to like turn back and think about that. Obviously, if you want children, have children, but if you don't have them out of like fear of being alone. It's very odd. Anyway, look at that. Tower comes down. Yeah. I don't know if there's like external stuff that's really weighing heavily on you, especially that's causing this. The Tower will come to break it all down in a way. That doesn't mean everything external from your life will be fixed, but you might have like a time where you need to take a long break and just see how the outside world's influencing you, see the expectations that are like influencing you. Are you taking things day by day, or are you looking 5 years, 10 years into the future while doing like so much work to like figure out what's going to happen in the future without actually doing the things you want to do today to create that future you want? You know, some people come around and get readings when I do Twitch readings, and they'll be asking about the future, 10 years, 5 years in the future, and it's like, well, what are you doing now to like create that you want? Like, what do you want in the future, right? We can read about it, but you could change something this year, next year, 2 years time, 3 years time, that's going to change that outcome in 5 years. Because especially in this day and age, we don't live in the 1950s where like everything just went fucking the same way all the time, right? Not saying it was exactly that, but now it's so much more dynamic than 1800s, 1700s, where you were born into this, and so you would become that, right? You're a farmer, your dad was a farmer, therefore you're a farmer, your grandparents were farmers, blah, blah, blah. It's just like this whole lineage type thing. That's gone. Unless you want it to be. And if you want it to be, good, then live it, right? But I don't know about that with this pile. You've got this balancing out energy again, which kind of aligns pretty well with the I'll mate with the swords, the 2 of Swords. Because this one is generally in my term, or what I see it is like giving to like charities or GoFundMe's, right, or stuff like that, balancing out like I have enough to be able to share, whether that's money, time, or not. You know, or it's like time to let go of the old things that keep us stuck. Because they're coming down, they need to be shifted and changed. You might even see it within some of your relationships and friendships. They might be just feeling less and less important in this moment. It doesn't mean they're going to disappear. It just means maybe there's like something to explore in this moment of time. Yeah, you need to go your own way. You've got the Eight of, what do you call it? Eight of Cups. Eight of Cups, and especially in conjunction with this, it's like, you know, this is the right thing to do. Like here, it's like, you know what's right to do. It's got to be difficult, and it might come with some heartache, or it might even come with healing the heart in a way. The cups are like emotions, right? So it's like emotionally connected to a place, a person, or something. And it's deciding to go on your own journey. You might not have even healed the connection, so to speak, exactly. It still might be fresh in your heart, whether it was 10 years ago or yesterday. But it's time to start to make the shifts before the tower falls, basically. Because if we need to move out of a situation or place, and the universe knows that our soul purpose knows that it makes it more difficult. I can kind of use an example of needing to leave a job that I was at. I went part-time instead, but only because it got progressively so bad in that team. It was just so bad that the leader was so difficult to deal with, that I wasn't the only one that left. There was like 3 other people that left the team, and it wasn't a big team. So half of them pretty much left or wanted to leave or went up. But the good thing is everyone went up into a high position. I didn't. I went because I didn't go full-time. I went part-time because I needed a break. And then I realized, oh, part-time is great. I don't need all this money for certain things now. Like, I'm not desperate for this or need this. And I was spending money on stuff that was trying to fill a gap anyway. So now I didn't feel like I needed to do that with the extra time that I had for myself. Didn't mean I was like wealthy, right? I had to budget a lot better, but it wasn't impossible, and I didn't feel like I missed out on anything, and I was able to still live quite peacefully and happily. It's just, you know, got to find a way that works quite well. But in the society, we're told like you have to get a full-time job and do this kind of thing and blah blah blah, and people online are kind of proving that incorrect, right? There's people that make money off making videos on TikTok and YouTube and stuff like that, which was never an option 20 years ago at least, right? Something like that. There's so many different things that we have at the moment, and there's probably so much more that we'll see in the future that are like, oh, why didn't I think that, or why didn't we try that or do that, right? Because it wasn't for us potentially, but now it's there. So yeah, this is quite a big reading in a way. I'm going to kind of break it down a little bit to summarize. This is all about living your life freely, basically. The acceptance, the kind of courage energy is coming through strongly here. And knowing that there's so much more out there in the seas and on the earth, that all your joy and happiness doesn't have to come from the place or the people that are around you at this moment. It's a great time of huge transformation. We know that. We can see that happening in the world. We can see like even leaders talking to each other in ways that they would never talk to each other, right? It's kind of funny. Everyone's kind of just throwing the PC hat, like not really PC, but maybe like the political etiquette type stuff on the ground and started just saying how they feel, which is good. Like honestly, it's like sometimes a curse is a blessing, right? Sometimes, in some ways. But anyway, it's kind of a wild time. There's certain attachments that are no longer needed for you to hold on to. Clearly right next to the tower. The tower is these old mates jumping out. They get told, right? If you've ever seen the before tower, there's like, you know, little man comes in, or woman, or whoever comes in with a message and saying, get out of the castle, a storm's coming. And some of them are like, that would never happen. The tower would never fall, right? You could see that with like Rome would never fall, or if you've seen the Titanic, not even God himself could sink the ship. Obviously, I don't know if he actually said that, but apparently he did. But let's just say he did, right? You know, and you would be surprised at what can fall and what can change and what can transform. So why not live your life freely, basically? Live your life free of expectation and burden, and choose your own happiness in life. All right, I'm going to leave that there. This is a long reading, but anyway, if you have questions, write a comment below. I'm happy to answer those. You can check me out on Twitch and get free readings there. I stream on, this is Australian time, so if you're in America, you might be a day behind, but I stream Wednesdays and Fridays for one-on-one readings, or just like, you know, a list, a queue, you get into a queue. And on Sundays, it is collective readings where it's just like collective updates and things like that. If you're curious, you can go check that out and see the videos tab. Anyone can go see them on Twitch, twitch.tv. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for letting me read for you. Take care of yourself, be kind to each other, and I'll see you next time.